Question number 156. So we are supposed to match the things there. So you can see when we talk about peptic cells, it is the one who is responsible for secreting the proenzyme pepsinogen. Goblet cells, like they'll secrete mucus, and doxantic cells, HCl and intrinsic factor. Hepatic cells, like it contribute for bile juice, right? Then broad palm with a single palm grease is visible in a person suffering from, so it is in Down syndrome. So the main symptom for Down syndrome will be the affected individual will have a single palm grease. And 158, again, match up. So microorganism is there, like we are supposed to match it with the disease. Ringworm, it is caused by trichophyton. Filariasis or elephantiasis, this is caused by Vauchereria. Malaria, Plasmodium vivax. Pneumonia, that is caused by Haemophilus influenzae. And 159, so we are supposed to match the lacoperon with these structural genes, and gene I is given there. We are supposed to match that. And when we talk about the gene A, this is responsible for coding with the enzyme transacetylase. Gene Y, permease. Gene I is repressor protein, and gene Z is beta-galactosidase. 160, two statements are there. So we are supposed to identify whether the statement is right or wrong. Statement 1 is wrong. So when we talk about a protein, when we are imagining it as a line, the left end will always represent the first amino acid with N terminal. And the last right end will be with the last amino acid with C terminal. So here it is given in a wrong way. Whereas statement 2 is right. So adult hemoglobin will have 4 subunits, 2 alpha and 2 beta subunits will be there. And 161, we are supposed to match the drugs with its effect. So heroin, it is responsible for slowing down the body function. Marijuana, like this is the one which affects the cardiovascular system. Cocaine, it interferes with the transport of dopamine. Morphine, it slows, like it is used as a painkiller. And 162, we are supposed to identify the correct statement from the female reproductive system. Statement 1, non-primate mammals, cyclical changes during reproduction is called distress cycle. That is right. And the first menstrual cycle begins at puberty and is called menopause. So we call it as menarche. And lack of menstruation may be indicative of pregnancy. Yes. Cyclic menstruation extends between menarche and menopause. Yes. So in this, A, C, D, 3 statements are right and B is not right. And which of the following symbols represents mating between relatives? So it is this. Third option. And 164, we are supposed to match the organisms with their excretory organ. So tinea, tapeworm, like they'll have flame cells or protonephridia. And paramecium, so they'll have this vacuoles, contractile vacuoles, which helps in osmoregulation and excretion. And periplaneta, like they'll have this uricose gland. And peritima, they'll have nephridia, which is earthworm, right? And radial symmetry is not found in adults in the phylum. So it is not found in hemichordata. In which blood corpuscles the HIV undergoes replication and produces progeny viruses? So here the right answer will be T helper cells. In the T helper cells, the HIV viruses, like it goes with replication and it produces the progeny viruses there. 167, which of the following statement is correct? So we are supposed to select the correct statement. So first statement, algal bloom decreases fish mortality. So it increases the fish mortality there. And eutrophication refers to increase in domestic sewage and wastewater in lakes. It is aging of lakes in simple terms. Biomagnification refers to increase in concentration of the toxicant and successive trophic level. So as I kept you previously, when we talk about biomagnification, the toxicant, it can't be excreted nor be metabolized. So it gets increased in the next successive trophic levels. And 168, which of the following common sexually transmitted disease is completely curable when detected early and treated properly. It is gonorrhea. Okay, so among the given options, we know few sexually transmitted diseases, like when they are detected early, like they can be cured. So in that, gonorrhea will come. And 169. So we are supposed to match the parts of the eyes with their position and their function. So when we talk about phobia especially, so that is the region where good resolution, visual resolution will be there. And iris, so we know that is the visible color portion of our eye. Okay. And the blind spot is the one where you won't see any photoreceptor cells. And sclera, this is the outermost layer. See, like if you are clear with 1D, okay, sclera is there, right? That is the external layer of eye, which is made up of dense connective tissue, and iris, which is the visible portion of our eye. You'll get the answer there. And two statements are there. So we are supposed to identify whether those statements are right or wrong. So statement 1, vas deferens receives a duct from seminal vesicle and opens into urethra as the ejaculatory duct. Yes, that is right. And the cavity of the cervix is called cervical canal, which along with vagina, it forms birth canal. So when we talk about these two statements are right. Okay. Then both these statements are right. 171, two statements are there. So we are supposed to select the correct statement. See, when we talk about the first statement, the positively charged DNA is held with some negatively charged proteins in the region called nucleus. So when we talk about the prokaryotes, especially, like we know they are not having any positively and negatively, like they are not. When we talk about the first statement, especially in prokaryotes, especially, you'll get to see the DNA, like we know it is negatively charged. It is not positively charged. So that statement is wrong. And statement 2 is right. It is wrapped around histone octamer. And once the undigested and 172, once the undigested and unabsorbed substances enter the cecum, their backflow is prevented by ileocecal valve. And 173, two statements are there. Like we are supposed to select the two statements. So statement 1, electrostatic precipitator is most widely used in thermal power plant. Yes, that is right. We'll be using that in thermal power plant. And statement 2 is wrong. So electrostatic precipitator is in thermal power plant removes ionizing radiation. So it is responsible for removing the particulate matter. And 174, two statements are there. So we are supposed to select like which of them are right. So assertion, two types of nephrons are there. Yes, cortical and juxtamedullary nephrons are there. And in juxtamedullary nephrons, they'll have short loop of Henle. They'll have long loop of Henle. And cortical nephrons, like they'll have short loop of Henle. So reason is wrong there. Assertion is true, reason is false. And which of the following function is carried out by cytoskeleton in a cell? So cytoskeleton is responsible for motility. That is the important function there. And 176, two statements are there. Statement 1, RNA mutates at a faster rate. Yes. And viruses having RNA genome and shorter lifespan mutate and evolve faster. We know RNA is less stable and it mutate very fastly and it evolve very fastly, right? And vital capacity of a lung is IRV, inspiratory reserve volume plus expiratory reserve volume plus tidal volume. And 178, ligaments are dense irregular tissue. So when we talk about tendons and ligaments, like they won't fall into this one. Okay, they won't fall into this dense irregular tissue. And statement 2, cartilage is a dense regular tissue. We know cartilage is a specialized connective tissue. Okay, so both the statements are not true. And 179, like we are supposed to match the waves. So P wave, it helps in depolarization of atria. A3, you got the match, right answer there. Q wave, it is the beginning of systole. QRS, depolarization of ventricles. T wave, repolarization of ventricles. And which of the following is not a cloning vector? We know yeast artificial chromosome, bacterial artificial chromosome, PBR322, they are a cloning vector, whereas probe is not a cloning vector. Then 181, two statements are there. When we talk about the first statement, we know when the temperature is low, the enzyme activity will be less. So they'll be in inactive state. When the temperature is high, they'll become denatured. Statement 1 is true. Statement 2, so when we talk about the inhibitor, when its structure is same as that of the substrate, it is competitive inhibitor. So both these statements are true. And 182, you have got the assertion there. Endometrium is necessary for implantation of blastocyst. Yes. Which is the innermost layer, which plays very important role in implantation, right? Reason, in the absence of fertilization, corpus luteum degenerates, that causes disintegration of endometrium. Yes, this is also right, but it is not the correct explanation. Okay, both the assertion and reason are true, and it is not the correct explanation. And which of the 183, which of the following is not the endomembrane system? So we know GER, Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum, and lysosomes and vacuoles will fall into that. Mitochondria, chloroplast, peroxisome, they won't fall into the endomembrane system. And 184, we are supposed to match the hormones with the organs. So ANF, right? Atrial natriuretic factor, ANF, right? So this is related to heart. C2, you got the answer there. So CCK, pancreas, GIP, gastric inhibitor peptide, gastric glands, ADH, it is from kidney. And 185, we are supposed to match the contraceptive with its method. So when we talk about vasectomy, it is surgical method. Coitus interruptus, it is natural method. Cervical cap is barrier method. Sahali, it is oral method. And 186 and 186 to 200, like 15 questions will be there. Like you're supposed to write 10. So match up mast cells. So it belongs to areolar connective tissue, and our inner surface of bronchiole, it is made up of ciliated epithelium to trap the microorganism. Blood is a specialized connective tissue, we know, and we got the answer there. And which of the following is not an advantage of inbreeding? See, when we talk about inbreeding, like it increases homozygosity, whereas here they gave it as it decreases homozygosity. So that is wrong. And 188, which of the following are not under the control of thyroid hormone? See, when we talk about the thyroid hormone, it helps in maintaining the water, not under the control of So not under the control of thyroid hormone. It is normal rhythm of sleep-wake cycle. So that is done by some other hormone, right? So melatonin is the one which maintains our diurnal rhythm, and development of immune system will be done by our T cells. So they too won't come. And 189, which of the following statements are correct? So basophils are most abundant cells of total WBC. No. It is neutrophil. Basophils secrete histamine, serotonin, and heparin. Yes. They are involved in inflammatory response. Yes. And they'll be having kidney shaped, yes shaped. And they are agranulocytes. They are granulocytes. So two statements B and C are right. Then 190. So in our human brain, the part which regulates the sexual behavior, expression of excitement, pleasure. So it is limbic system and hypothalamus. So it is the one which is responsible for controlling all those expression there. And 191, which of the following is the characteristic feature of cockroach regarding the sexual dimorphism? So when we talk about this question especially, it is anal style. So presence of anal style is the indication of the sexual dimorphism in cockroach. And which of the following is the sequence, sorry, the coding strand is there if the sequence on mRNA formed is as follows. So they have given you the mRNA here, okay? And we are supposed to identify the coding strand. So the right answer will be D. So there won't be any changes, right? So in coding strand, like they'll have thymine instead of uracil. Whereas in RNA, you'll get to see they'll have uracil. So coding strand and RNA, both of them will be same. The main difference will be with the thymine. So instead of thymine, uracil will be there in RNA. 193, in cockroach, excretion is brought about by. So the organs which play very important role in excretion is nephrocytes and uricose gland. Like we had a look on this question, right? So uricose gland, nephrocytes and fat body, like they'll help in excretion. 194, the unique mammalian characteristic feature are. So they'll have hair throughout their body, pinna will be there and mammary gland will be there. And 195, like we are supposed to match the growth with its feature. So 195, A, logistic growth. So we will get to see limited resource availability will be there. So no resources is unlimited. So it is unlimited in exponential growth. So B1, I guess you got the answer here. Okay, B1 is exponential growth to unlimited resource availability condition. You got the answer there. And 196, select the correct statement with reference to chordate. When we talk about the chordate, especially presence of mid-dorsal solid double nerve cut. So here this term. Okay, and presence of closed circulatory system, paired pharyngeal gill slits. Those two are right. Dorsal heart won't be there. It is ventral. Triploplastic pseudocoelomate. Triploplastic coelomate animals. So you got the right answer there. And 197. So we are supposed to identify the correct statement regarding the skeletal muscles. Muscle bundles are held together by collagenous collective tissue layer called fascia, not fascicle. Sarcoplasmic reticulum is the storehouse of calcium ions. Yes, that is right. Striated appearance is because of the actin and myosin distribution. That is right. M line is considered as a functional unit, not the M line, it is Z line. So B and C were the right statement. 198, from cell cycle and cell division, we are supposed to select the correct statement. So a tetrad formation is seen during leptotene. So during the pachytene, like where you will get to see the tetrad formation will be there. During anaphase, the centromere split and chromatid separate. Yes. So they didn't give you whether it is anaphase 1 or 2. So during anaphase, the centromeres split and chromatids separate. That is right. Terminalization takes place during packetine. No. Under diplotin and diakinases, where you'll get to see terminalization takes place. Nucleolus, Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum are reformed during telophase. This is right. Crossing over takes place between sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes. So when we talk about crossing over, it takes place between non-sister chromatids. It takes place in homologous chromosomes, but the chromatids will be non-sister. So B and D are right. And 199, so we are supposed to select the correct statement. And excessive loss of body fluid from the body switches off osmoreceptors. It switches on the osmoreceptor. ADH facilitate water reabsorption to prevent diuresis. That is right. And ANF causes vasodilation. Yes. And ADH causes increase in blood pressure. Yes. ADH is responsible for decrease in GFR. It increases the GFR. And 200. Two statements are there, like we are supposed to identify the correct statement there. So during the G0 phase, cell will be metabolically inactive. See, cell will be active. Okay, it won't go with any other division works there. The centrosome undergoes replication during S phase of interphase. Yes, that is right. Okay, so statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct. So with this, like we came to an end. Thank you very much.